Hi everyone! So in today's video we're going to make the box you just saw in the intro. In my mind I just have ideas swirling around and I thought I want to make like a good size, like a 4-inch box, like a cube basically, but with like a Matchbox outer portion, right, that you're going to slide in and out of. And that way it'll teach you a little bit about making like those Matchbox type things. Of course these numbers can be whatever you want, but I was thinking let's make it easy for 8.5-inch paper. And we'll see how it goes. And then I went to look for Christmas paper, and I found this one after I chose black paper, and I'm like, you know what, maybe I should switch this out to a beige cardstock. I wasn't going to, but maybe I will. I thought, well, this is okay. Obviously, you want the inside of the box to coordinate with whatever you have going on the outside. This is not the thickest paper. This is some older paper I have in my stash, so again, very start from stashy here. Let me grab this cream color paper here. From Diamond Press a while back, and maybe last year or a couple years ago. Again, if there's anything I'm using that you can pick up now, I'll go ahead and link those. Those would be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission if you purchase items to those links. But if not, definitely things from your stash, right? And I think it's going to be easy. I was going to make several pieces to make the cube, the inner cube, but I thought, you know what, let's try to do the 8.5-inch paper in a way that just makes sense. And not cut a bunch of small pieces. So I'm going to put these two pieces to the side because we're going to focus on the inside of our box. And I'm going to make this legitimately a 4-inch cube. So since this paper is 11 by 8.5, I thought we can do a 1/2-inch glue tab and not mess around with that too much. So I'm going to cut this paper in a way, I guess we're going to do 1/2-inch glue tabs on both sides. And I was going to make individual strips for the cube base, right? The square base, and then a strip here, and then put it together into a cube like we normally do with the box. And then to get the size we want, obviously we need to use several pieces or like that. But I think I'm going to do two, one side this way and one side this way, right? So then it still glues together in a box shape. So we're going to keep the 8.5 inches. And the other direction, I'll do 4.5. Just, let me think, 4. Yeah, no, we'll just do 4.5. That way everything's a 1/2-inch glue tab at the base and it's not confusing. So we need two pieces that are the 8.5 by 4.5. And then, so that's for our inside. We do need a 4-inch square piece of cardstock. I only have this cream here. Let me grab another piece that I can cut into. I'm sure I have a scrap somewhere. I'll be right back. I'm sure this will work. I use this for like something from Cricut, clearly. So I want a 4-inch square for the very base. Perfect. So we have that and this. Oopsie. Okay, so for right now we have a 4-inch square base. And then we have two pieces that are 8.5 by 4.5. Okay, so both of these guys I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to come in here and score it at 4 inches. Okay, on this side here, and at 8 inches, which essentially means leaving 1/2 inch over here. So 4 inches, 8 inches. I'm doing it a little bit different, so I have to swing out the arm. And then at the bottom, let's also do a 1/2 inch score along one of the sides. It doesn't matter because it's symmetrical. You can turn it. That's essentially the bottom. So I'll do the same thing with this second one. 8.5 by 4.5. Score it at 4 inches, 8 inches, and then 1/2 inch on this bottom part. Okay, so I'm gonna put this to the side for right now. If you're doing that on a scoring board, of course, you just cut your paper and then same thing. Legitimate numbers here. Let me get a smaller scissor. Okay, so to make our little pieces here, I'm gonna cut into this one where they join, but just kind of at an angle. And I'm sorry about the lighting. It's raining, it's crazy out here. Anyway, from this, again, at an angle, just so that when we go to glue it, it looks a little bit nicer. And that also means we can angle these pieces too, just from the score line out to the score line, however it makes it easier for you to do that. Okay, I'm gonna do the exact same thing to this one. So there you can see, angled away. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, this last bit, okay. And you can definitely cut 2 4-inch squares if you want to reinforce this. I'm just going to have these glued to the inside of this, so from underneath it looks nice and neat. But if you want one at the base and one on tucked inside, right, down inside, so it looks really nice and neat, you can definitely do that. And just scoring these guys towards the inside, right? And this will be kind of a quick tutorial as far as making it, because you can decorate it, obviously, sky's the limit, whatever you want to put on this. It'll be really cute. So there we go. And it's up to you. Do you want to glue these together and then put them as a frame onto this? Or do you want to glue them onto this piece, and then as you get there, you know, bring the piece around however you want? I'm probably going to go ahead and glue them together just at this point. Maybe not in the complete frame shape, you know, the box shape yet, but something like this. And of course you can do this with any sizing you want. Because again, if your paper's not big enough, you can do sections, right? Each section. So you can definitely make a big box if you really wanted to. But like I said, today's a 4-inch square. I thought that'd be kind of fun. Okay, that probably needs some time to set up, but you know, that's fine. Okay, so I'm going to come around and glue these to the inside. That's what I was saying. If you want 2 4-inch squares, you would stick them underneath the other one and then pop this other one down in. Oh, look at that. That was way off. I was like, I always go to check. That was way off. Okay. That one looks nice. And I mean, honestly, I can put the glue here if I really wanted to. Right on that edge, bring this guy in. Again, I cut that myself, so it's not going to be perfect, like if it was a tonic, you know, die set, but that's just what happens. Okay, so we're gluing that one. I love my Nuvo because it holds on really quickly. And again, glue right into the corner, right towards the edge. Bring this guy in. And when you bring it in, you see how it's crooked? I don't know if you can see that. I, of course, perfect that. So just push that out to where it needs to be. So it looks nice and neat. And this paper I'm using is 300, well, I think it's 110 pounds. So that's roughly 3 or 350 GSM. You definitely want to use some sturdy paper. Like I said, the one that's going to go on the outside isn't as sturdy, but if I had 300 GSM Christmas paper, I would use that. Okay, and this last bit, I'm going to go ahead and glue this together. Now, that gives you a little wiggle room, because let's say you stuck this together in a frame, and then you went to put it on here, and let's say it doesn't really match up very well, but it's already glued together. This way, if you have something you need to give or whatever, you can kind of manipulate it still a little bit, right? So I'm lining this up nice and straight, again, against this bottom one here. This is so much fun, guys. I'm telling you, matchboxes are so easy, and they can be any shape. You know, a lot of times they're rectangular, right? But if I want to, look at, see how that didn't quite match up? It was kind of tall, and I'm pulling this right side up to match that top corner. And that works out. So I'm just going to hold that nicely. I'll put my hand in here, and we'll take a look. We have a 4-inch box. Oh my gosh, this is so much fun. Look how cute. Okay. And we're going to make something to go over it. So again, it's going to slide in and out this way. It doesn't really matter. It's, you know, if you wanted to slide out to the side, I suppose, it's just the match part goes around. So I guess you could, I don't know, do whatever you want, but I'm going to design it. It doesn't matter, whichever way you put this on, if you want this to be up or up that way or to the side, and then your wrapper goes around it however you want. So no big deal. Okay, so we have that. Again, that was a 4-inch square. 2 pieces of cardstock that were 8.5 by 4.5, scored at 1/2 inch along the bottom, right? And then at 4 and 8 on the other side. So now I'm going to take this, and since this is already 8.5, I'm just going to cut this at 4 inches, because it just needs to be exactly the same. And we don't need a glue tab at the base. We're just gluing this in a frame shape. So I'm going to cut this at 4 by 8.5. Okay. And another one that is 4 by 8.5. And I'm leaving the 8.5 because we're going to do some scoring that's a little bit interesting, and I'm not even going to worry about that 1/2 inch that's at the end. So to get this around, you can imagine if you score at 4, it's going to be really tight. That's not going to work. You need to score it at 4 plus a little bit extra. So if you're using a paper trimmer or something like that, you don't have a box maker, you're going to go in here and you're going to score it at 4 and a 1/16. So 4 plus this little guy right here. Not this one, that's an 1/8. This is a 1/4, and then you keep going, right? That one little line, every little tick is a 1/16. So you would score it at 4 and a 1/16. Score it. And the next one you would score at 8 1/8 because that's adding a 16 on that next one. So 8.5 by 4, you're going to score at 4 1/16, and then at 8 1/8. So 8 1/8, and I'll show you what that looks like because I know people say it's confusing when I jump back and forth between tools, but everyone has different things. So the next score line would be not at 8 1/16, it'd be at 8 1/8 right there. Boom. Okay. So I hope that makes sense. And then that essentially leaves you a little over 1/4 inch for a glue tab. If you're using a scoreboard, and if you're using the kind that already has a box base, right? That box base side gives you an extra 1/16 as you're scoring. So on the box maker, you're going to go to the box base side, and you're going to score it at 4 inches. That's going to give you a 4 1/16 because there's already a 16th built in here. But you don't just go and move on and say, okay, the next one's also at 4. No, or, which would be 8. You have to actually fold it. So 4 inches. And then what you're going to have to do is score it or fold it, which I did it this way because that's how I wanted to, but that's okay for now. You're going to fold it, and then you're going to push it up with that line over here, and then do 4 inches again. Okay, because this accommodates 4 1/16, and this is going to be another 4 1/16. Okay, if you just keep going 4 and then 8, this 8-inch side is just going to be 4 inches without that 16th. I don't know how to explain it, but that's best I can do. So again, 4 inches. Okay, and what we're going to do with these guys is just score, or just, excuse me, trim away that little bit right to that score line, and then score that. And again, I like to score fold away from what I did, and that was a little funny for that last one. So I'm gonna do the same thing for the next one, and you would too, is go ahead and score at 4 inches, give it a score, and 4 inches again. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay guys, and essentially that is it. I mean, that's all you're doing. You just have to get that 1/16 of an inch all around on each section so that this will slide in and out really nicely. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue this guy together. And I'm gonna glue right here. And of course you can put a rosette on top, your die cuts, your ephemera, you know, all these fun things that you have. I cut this one a little short, that was on me. Again, I like to line it up. Now if I had longer paper, I would try to keep it all one piece as most I can, because you know there's a junction here and then there's gonna be another one, but that's just how it is because our paper is only so big. Okay, so that one, and then on it, essentially I should be able to lay this down and glue this because it's symmetrical, right? So just gonna put that down right to the very edge. Of course, want that to look the best and kind of give that a zhuzh best I can. Okay, so if I lay this down again, I can kind of eyeball how straight that is and all that. Of course, you want all this stuff to be nice and straight. And make sure you're not gluing it shut, like to the one underneath here. And that'll be good. Okay, before I try this, I'm gonna let this set up because I don't want it to tear or anything. So I'm gonna let that sit for a few before we slide it onto our box, and that's it. Okay, I think I'm ready. Oh, do I hear an emergency vehicle? Oh, well, hopefully it stays far away. All right, let's open that guy up. So that is our little sleeve that is going to go over this. And that's what I was saying. Again, I oriented it so that this would be, you know, sliding in and out this way. And this still is correct. And, you know, depending on your paper, if it has a direction, you're going to want to pay attention to that. If you want this to open sideways, you can still do that, right? It would just slide in and this stuff would be on the side. So that's what it's whatever you want. Okay, but I feel like this needs to be up and that can be up too. And actually, see how this is here? Let's just turn that so we're not paying attention to that. I'm gonna turn it one more time so that that is facing out instead of up right at me, right? And I mean, snug as a bug in a rug. Oh my gosh, that is very snug. There you go. And that's, you know, all it is. So obviously it's bowed out. I can kind of push that in if I want. If you want to make a couple little holes in here and add like a little handle, maybe use some floss or some embroidery floss or like twine or, you know, ribbon or whatever, or actually even cut another piece of cardstock. I don't really have one here, but sometimes I've made handles where it's just as easy as something like this. I'm just going to crunch it, guys. But I would definitely do like a 1/2 inch and then an inch score, 1/2 inch and an inch so that you fold it in and out. Hold on. Well, I did that one too short. Hold on. So in and then back out. Usually I make it so it makes sense with the sizing. And then glue these two pieces to this, and that's what you pull it with, right? So I mean, there's just, you know, you want to add some matte layers. There's so much you can do to this, or just decorate on top, and obviously the person can kind of see that you need to slide this out, right? I would think. So yeah, I mean, there's just lots of ways to play with these kinds of things. Decorate the top, of course. I mean, just have a lot of fun with this. So that was just a very basic 4-inch box in this case. And I think it looks really cute. I was thinking about maybe making a bow to stick on the top. But you know what, for now, how about a tag? If you have like some cute tags and a little bow here. I mean, so many things you can do. But thanks for watching, guys. I hope that was fun for you guys. Let me know if you want to see more boxes. I love making boxes. I'll make you tons of boxes. Sometimes people even request, can you make one that's this size, or, you know, whatever. So if there's something you're specifically looking for and I can get it done, I will do that for you. But otherwise, thanks for watching. I'll have images coming up, and I'll see you all at the next one. Bye now.